Today, we're diving into some really interesting stuff you sent our way.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's a bunch of articles all about industries that just blew up during the Trump administration.
Okay.
So, like from 2017 to 2021.
Gotcha.
But that's not all.
What else?
They're also making predictions about similar growth
Oh, wow.
in 2025.
Like a crystal ball kind of thing.
Exactly. So, buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride.
I love it. It's so interesting to see how, like, political and economic decisions
Yeah,
can cause these huge ripple effects across different industries.
totally. And sometimes in the most unexpected ways.
For sure.
All right, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
We've got 10 industries in this article.
10. Wow.
Energy, financial services, construction, manufacturing, defense, tech, pharmaceuticals, real estate, automotive, and even retail.
That's quite the mix.
I know, right? So many different things all booming at the same time.
Makes you wonder if there's a common thread there, right?
Exactly. Like, what was behind their success? Well, there are definitely some key themes that emerge.
Like what?
Tax cuts, deregulation, and this strong America First policy focus.
Right.
All playing out across these different sectors.
It's all connected.
Okay, so let's zero in on a few of these.
Okay.
The article specifically mentions this huge boom in oil, gas, and coal.
Oh, yeah.
And get this, it even talks about them rolling back environmental regulations.
Which one?
Like the Clean Power Plan.
Yeah. That's a controversial one for sure.
It is, but it's important to understand why it happened, right?
So basically, rolling back those regulations made it way cheaper for energy companies to produce oil, gas, and coal.
Like they didn't have to spend as much to follow the rules.
Exactly.
So that made them more profitable.
Exactly.
I see. So it was like a financial incentive to produce more.
Right. It lowered the barrier to entry, and production just took off.
Interesting. And speaking of financial incentives,
Yeah.
the article also talks about how much the financial services sector grew.
Oh, yeah, that was a big one.
It mentions something about the Dodd-Frank regulations being rolled back.
Uh-huh.
Did that really make a difference?
Big time. Easing those restrictions on banks basically freed up a ton of capital.
So they could invest and lend more.
Exactly. And we can't forget about the tax cuts.
Oh, right. Less taxes, more profits.
Exactly. And that boosted stock performance for a lot of those institutions.
So it was like they were already powerful, and
Yeah.
then they got this extra boost.
Totally. It's like giving a speed boost to an already powerful engine.
Got it. Now, what about construction? I remember all that talk about infrastructure during that time.
Oh, yeah.
Did that actually lead to any growth?
Yeah. They definitely pushed for it.
Okay.
The Trump administration, I mean.
Yeah.
But those big spending bills got kind of stuck sometimes. So they shifted focus to deregulation,
Oh, okay.
like making it easier to get permits for construction projects.
Interesting. So less red tape.
Exactly. And that sped things up, especially for certain types of construction. Think of companies like Caterpillar, all that heavy machinery,
Right.
and Vulcan Materials, they supply all those aggregates.
Interesting.
And of course, all the big infrastructure firms like Fluor Corporation saw a lot more projects.
So even without the huge spending plans, just making things easier had a big impact.
Yeah, for sure.
That's pretty interesting. Now, what about manufacturing? The article talks about how American manufacturing made a comeback.
Oh, yeah.
Was that all because of America First?
America First was definitely a big factor.
Okay.
Like, they put tariffs on imported steel and aluminum.
So it was more expensive to buy from other countries.
Right. And that protected American manufacturers.
So they didn't have to compete with cheaper prices from overseas.
Exactly. And that created a boom for domestic producers,
Ew. Like who?
like U.S. Steel and Nucor Corporation.
Okay, so those industries benefited directly.
Definitely. But it's not the whole story, though.
Really? What else was going on?
They were also deregulating the entire manufacturing sector.
Across the board.
Yeah. Less regulations, lower costs for businesses, and they became more competitive.
Wow, so it was like a double whammy.
Kind of. It was about making it easier for businesses to operate.
So protect them from foreign competition and cut the red tape.
Exactly. A two-pronged approach.
Got it. But within manufacturing, some areas probably benefited more than others, right?
Absolutely. Think about it. The tariffs on steel and aluminum had a direct impact on those industries,
Right.
but the deregulation had a much broader impact on everything else.
It's all about the nuances.
Exactly. You got to look at the specifics.
Okay, so what about the defense industry? I'm guessing government spending had something to do with this one.
You got it. More military spending means more contracts for those big defense contractors.
Like who?
Lockheed Martin, Boeing, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, all the big names.
I see.
The administration was all about modernizing the military.
So more money flowing into defense, more business for these companies.
It's Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, makes sense. It's like
Yeah.
the government can just decide to boost certain industries.
It's a powerful lever they can pull.
For sure. Okay, so we've covered energy, finance, construction, even defense.
A lot of ground.
But what about tech? It seems like tech is always doing well, no matter who's in charge.
It is, but it's a bit more complicated than that.
Oh, how so?
Well, yeah, the tax cuts helped companies like Microsoft and Intel.
Okay.
They could bring money back from overseas at a lower tax rate.
So they had more money to invest here.
Exactly. But the bigger tech companies were also facing a lot of scrutiny.
Like those antitrust investigations.
Exactly. They were being accused of having too much power.
So it wasn't all sunshine and roses for big tech.
Not exactly. But here's the interesting thing.
What's that?
A lot of smaller tech firms actually did really well.
Because they weren't under the microscope.
Exactly. Plus, there was more business and consumer spending going around.
So even in a booming sector, there are winners and losers.
It's like they're all sailing in the same sea.
Yeah,
But some boats rise higher than others.
I like that analogy. Okay, so we've covered a lot, but there's still more to go.
Like what?
We still have pharmaceuticals and biotechnology,
Okay.
real estate, automotive, and retail.
Wow. We're just getting started.
We are. Let's keep this deep dive going.
Ready.
All right, so we saw how some industries really took off under those conditions, but what about the future?
That's the big question, right?
Exactly. These articles are looking ahead to 2025,
Oh, wow.
trying to predict which sectors will boom next.
Like a crystal ball for entrepreneurs.
Exactly. It's like a cheat sheet for anyone trying to figure out where to invest their time and money.
I love it. And the interesting thing is,
What's that?
the winner's circle looks a little different this time around.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're highlighting manufacturing, energy, healthcare, agriculture, construction, and finance.
That's a slightly different mix than before.
Right.
So what's behind this shift?
Well, they're talking about some pretty major societal shifts,
Okay.
like the whole focus on sustainability and all those new technologies popping up.
It's like the world is changing and those industries are adapting.
Exactly.
Okay, let's start with manufacturing. What kind of growth are we talking about?
Well, they're predicting this resurgence in domestic manufacturing.
Okay.
But it's not just about bringing back those old factories.
Oh, so what is it about?
It's all about new technologies and sustainability.
Like what?
Think 3D printing facilities.
Oh, 3D printing facilities.
Yeah. And a big focus on eco-friendly products.
So it's like combining innovation with being environmentally conscious.
Exactly.
That makes sense, especially for those younger generations.
Right. They're all about sustainability.
Okay, so what about energy?
Energy's going through a pretty big shift, too.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, they're saying traditional energy sources will keep growing.
Oil and gas and all that.
Yeah. But they're also emphasizing the rise of renewables.
Like solar and wind power.
Exactly.
So it's like a two-pronged energy boom.
I guess you could say that.
It's definitely different from before when it was mostly fossil fuels.
Yeah, for sure.
So what's driving the shift towards renewables?
Well, there are government incentives.
Okay,
People want cleaner energy,
makes sense.
and the technology is getting better and cheaper.
So it's like all the stars are aligning for renewables.
It's pretty exciting. Remember those solar panels you see popping up everywhere?
Yeah.
That's a sign of the times.
Okay, so energy is becoming more diverse.
Yeah,
What about healthcare? That's always a big one.
definitely. And technology is playing a huge role there, too.
It seems like everything is becoming more tech-driven.
It's true.
So what are they predicting for healthcare?
Continued growth, driven by a few things.
Like what?
An aging population, new medical technology, and people wanting more personalized healthcare.
Personalized healthcare. What does that mean?
It means treatments tailored specifically to you,
Oh, wow.
based on your genes and lifestyle and all that.
That's pretty amazing.
It is. And there are tons of opportunities for startups in this space.
Like what?
Telemedicine platforms.
Oh, yeah. Those virtual doctor visits are becoming really popular.
Exactly. And there's pharmaceutical delivery services.
Pharmaceutical delivery?
Yeah. Imagine getting your meds delivered right to your door.
Whoa. That would be so convenient.
Right. Especially for people who can't easily get to a pharmacy.
And there are those health data analytics companies too.
Oh, yeah. Those are huge. They can analyze patient data to help doctors make better decisions.
So it's like we're taking all the digital stuff we've already done in healthcare
Uh-huh.
and taking it to the next level.
Exactly. It's all about using technology to improve healthcare outcomes.
I love it. Okay, what about agriculture? How's that sector supposed to grow?
Well, it's facing some challenges,
Yeah, I can imagine.
but they're predicting significant growth.
Really? Why is that?
There's a growing population and more demand for food.
Right, more mouths to feed.
Exactly. And there are all these new agricultural technologies,
Like what?
precision farming tools,
Uh-huh.
smart irrigation systems.
Smart irrigation systems. What are those?
They use sensors and data to optimize water usage for crops.
So they're like super efficient.
Exactly. Less waste, better yields.
It's amazing how technology is transforming everything.
It's true. Even agriculture is becoming data-driven.
So we've got manufacturing making a comeback.
Yeah.
Will that affect the construction industry too?
They're saying it will.
Interesting. So what's driving that growth?
Increased infrastructure spending, more demand for housing, and new building technologies.
Like what kind of technologies?
Think modular housing production.
Modular housing? What's that?
It's like building homes with prefabricated parts.
Oh, okay.
It's faster, less waste, and better quality control.
So it's like building with Legos.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But on a much bigger scale.
That's pretty cool. And what about the financing side of things?
They're seeing a lot of interest in real estate investment platforms.
Oh, yeah. What are those?
They let you invest in sustainable building projects.
So you can put your money where your values are.
Exactly.
Okay, last but not least, what about finance?
Finance is always evolving,
That's for sure.
and they're predicting continued growth.
Why is that?
More investment activity, advancements in fintech, and people wanting more personalized financial solutions.
Personalized finance. What does that even mean?
It means things like crowdfunding platforms,
Okay.
apps that help you manage your money,
Right.
and even cryptocurrency advisories.
Cryptocurrency advisories.
Yeah, they help you navigate the world of Bitcoin and all that.
That's definitely a sign of the times.
It is.
So it seems like there will be plenty of opportunities in 2025
No shortage of options.
across all these different industries.
It's exciting.
It is. But there's always risk involved, right?
Jokers.
Yeah.
Investing is never a sure thing.
But at least we have an idea of what to look for.
Exactly. It's about doing your research and staying informed.
It's like having a roadmap for the future.
Yeah, but you got to be ready to adapt along the way.
That's a great point. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We talked about those past trends, and now we've got these predictions for future growth.
It's amazing how everything is connected.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Politics, economics, technology, consumer behavior.
It's all intertwined.
And this is all valuable information
Definitely.
for anyone who wants to understand these industries.
Yeah, but it's important to remember one thing.
What's that?
These are just predictions.
Oh, right.
They're based on what we know now,
Okay.
but the future can be unpredictable.
Things could change.
Exactly. You never know what might happen.
So we need to be cautious
A healthy dose of skepticism.
and stay informed
Keep learning and adapting.
because the future isn't set in stone.
It's up to us to shape it.
Well said. Okay, so we've talked about the big trends,
Yeah.
and now the article gets even more specific.
Oh, really? How so?
It suggests some actual startup ideas.
Within each sector.
Exactly. Should we take a look?
Let's do it. I'm curious to see what they came up with.
Okay, so we talked about those big trends, but this article goes even further.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it actually suggests some specific startup ideas
Wow, for each sector.
for each sector.
That's pretty cool.
It is. So let's dive into some of the more interesting ones.
Okay, let's do it.
So in manufacturing, remember all that 3D printing stuff?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying there's a huge opportunity for startups
In what way?
to make eco-friendly products.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right, like biodegradable packaging or clothing made from sustainable materials.
Yeah. Or even furniture from upcycled goods.
Exactly. It's like those two trends are coming together.
What trends?
Conscious consumerism and all this innovation.
Right. People want to buy stuff that's good for the planet.
And now they can with all these new
This
technologies.
is a win-win.
Okay, what about energy? Any cool startup ideas there?
Well, with all these electric vehicles on the road,
Yeah.
they're saying there's a huge need for more charging stations.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Right. Like we need to build that infrastructure so people feel comfortable switching to electric.
It's like if you build it, they will come.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the stations themselves.
What
There's all the tech that goes along with it.
Oh, like what?
Smart charging software, battery management systems.
Oh, wow.
It's a whole new area for innovation.
That's pretty exciting. And speaking of tech, what
Yeah.
about healthcare? Remember those telemedicine platforms?
Yeah.
Well, they're saying that's just the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, they're predicting these pharmaceutical delivery services will take off.
Oh, wow. So you could get your meds delivered right to you.
Exactly. No more trips to the pharmacy.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Right. Especially for people who have trouble getting around.
Or for people with chronic illnesses who need regular refills.
Exactly. It's all about convenience and safety.
But there's another side to this too.
What's that?
All that health data that's being generated.
Yeah.
They're saying we need companies to help us make sense of it all.
So like health data analytics startup.
Exactly. They can analyze that data and give insights to healthcare providers
So doctors can make better decisions.
and personalize treatments for their patients.
It's like we're using data to make healthcare even better.
It's pretty amazing.
Okay, let's move on to agriculture. Any interesting startup ideas there?
Well, with all the challenges facing farmers these days,
Yeah, like climate change and all that.
they're saying precision farming tools will be huge.
Precision farming tools, what are those?
Think drones that monitor crops
Oh, wow.
or sensors that track soil moisture.
So it's like giving farmers superpowers
Kind of. They can see problems before they get too big.
and make sure their crops are getting exactly what they need.
Exactly. It's all about efficiency and sustainability.
It's like taking all that data and using it to improve farming.
Yeah, it's a pretty big shift from how things used to be done.
Okay. What about construction? Any cool startup ideas there?
Well, with the focus on sustainability,
Uh-huh.
they're predicting a boom in sustainable building materials.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, like bricks made from recycled plastic
Oh, wow.
or insulation made from hemp.
So it's like we're literally building a greener future.
Exactly. And it's not just about the materials themselves.
What else?
There's also the financing side of things.
Oh, yeah.
They're talking about these real estate investment platforms
Okay.
where you can invest directly in sustainable building projects
So you can support companies that are doing good for the planet.
and potentially make some money at the same time.
It's a win-win. Okay, last but not least,
What's that?
finance. Remember those cryptocurrency advisories?
Oh, yeah, those are interesting.
They're definitely a sign of the times.
Right. Crypto is becoming more and more mainstream.
And a lot of people are still confused by it.
So these advisories can help them navigate that world.
Give them some guidance on how to invest and all that.
It's like having an expert in your corner.
Exactly. Especially since it can be such a volatile market.
Yeah, you definitely need someone who knows what they're doing.
Well, this has been an amazing deep dive.
I know, right? We covered so much ground.
We went from those broad trends to specific startup ideas.
And it's all connected to these potential political and economic changes.
It's like everything is intertwined.
It really is. It's fascinating to see how it all plays out.
So what's the big takeaway for our listeners today?
Well, I think the key message is that the future is full of potential,
Oh.
but it's also shaped by the choices we make today.
So it's up to us to create the future we want.
Exactly. Whether you're an investor, an entrepreneur, or just someone trying to understand the world,
Yeah.
paying attention to these trends and making informed decisions can make all the difference.
Well said. It's been a pleasure diving deep into this with you.
Likewise.
And to our listeners, thanks for joining us on this journey of discovery.
We'll see you next time.
Until then, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
Line of code. With our vibrant templates, dynamic tools, and round-the-clock support, there's nothing stopping you from turning your vision into reality. Let's ignite your creative spark and build something extraordinary, because at freewebsitesite.com, it's all about freedom. Let's get started now. Welcome to freewebsitesite.com, your ultimate playground for bringing big ideas to life.